Good morning, top performers. And here we go. This is graduation week, and I thank you all for joining me on this just fantastic occasion that I have heard so many wonderful, wonderful things that we literally, for those real estate agents out there, you've literally created millions of dollars of new sales, more income for you, service to other people. That see, as you thrive, as you raise your vibration and feel better, and just think about the thoughts about what you do want, that you like, that pleases you, that you then become the light and you uplift others then. And so it is just grand that you'll see, and it's, just a different way of what we were taught. And our parents and our teachers and everybody, they meant well, but they really just didn't understand. And now you have this understanding. And for those of you that have been through all 5 of these amazing, enlightening, miraculous sessions, that you're starting to realize and see just how incredible you are, and that you can create whatever you want, because that's who you are, is you're this deliberate creator. And today we're going to talk about the path to all your desires, and that path is an emotional path. The means to everything that you want. And I would write this down and remember that, I just channel and just start sending you the perfect thoughts for you to help you embrace and awaken and be enlightened on just the magnificence of who you are. And so, but the path to all of your desires, that path is a happy path. It is where you feel good. That is where all your desires reside, is you feeling good. And so this last session is going to put it all together and help you understand just on the path to all your desires is in fact emotional. It's an emotional path. And depending on whether or not you're on emotional high or low will depend on whether or not you receive your desires or not. I wanted to share with you first a story that happened last week in our live top performers. And one of the participants came in and just said, I almost didn't come today. And I said, well, why is that? And she said, I'm just so emotional that the happiness is just flowing out of me. My joy is just coming beyond me. And so I asked her if she would share this with the people that were in the facilitation and our top performers. And so she did. And she basically started out by sharing a story about her daughter. Her daughter has a deep desire to want to become a basketball professional. So a player in the women's professional league. And so that's her dream. That's her daughter's dream. And this past week, her daughter was doing some activity and broke her wrist. And so during this whole time that the top performer was thinking, I'm going to look for the good in this, and I'm going to show my daughter the good in this. And so most would say, oh, this is just awful. You broke your wrist. That's terrible, that this is going to delay, you achieving your dreams, etc. And so, but she just started saying, that the top performer that started saying to herself that I am going to look for the good in this situation. And so she started to look for the good in this situation. And her daughter came to her and said, oh, Mom, this is just awful that this happened. And her mom said, really? Well, let's talk about that. And so they started talking about it. And she had broken her left hand, and she's a lefty, And so they started talking about how she could start dribbling with her right hand and passing. And she loves Curry, a basketball player, and the MVP of this year, and the way that he passes and uses his different hands. And so they started to get all excited about this opportunity, and they really forgot about the broken left wrist, and they started thinking about what the good is in this. And she literally then the daughter started to bounce the basketball with her right, started to pass it behind her back. That she said, "Oh, Mom, this is just so great." So that was one of the good things that came from it. And then her daughter came to her later and said, "Mom, I really want this to be this professional basketball star, and I just don't know how to do it." And so her mother, the top performer, realized that, in fact, that what had happened with this person, that that though they didn't have the basketball expertise, that she realized, this top performer realized, that the daughter was trying to figure out how. And remember, that's not our job. The how is not our job. So she told her daughter, all I want you to do is think about what you want and why you want it. And her daughter looked up into her eyes, and she could just feel the freedom that was being felt by the daughter. And the daughter said, "Oh my goodness, you mean I don't have to figure out how to do it?" And her mother said, "Absolutely, that you just think about what and why, and the how shall come to you." And all of a sudden, that it came then to me on Christ's words. And Christ's words were that, and I've always taught that if you would just listen to Christ or any of the great teachers, that listen to them and not on how it's sometimes been misconstrued, that you'll have all the answers. And so Christ said, in paraphrasing, that I do not do the work. The Father within me does the work. And so I want you to embrace that and to realize that what my teaching here and what you have learned, that it is the truth with the capital T. And so many of you have now seen on how things are getting better and better for you. And I can guarantee you, because you're on this webinar right now, that I can guarantee you that things are going to get nothing but better and better for you. And so rejoice in that and know that. And as long as you believe that you will get all the things that you desire. Now, interestingly enough, besides this woman and the daughter turning this circumstance, okay, that is what is, and turning it into the good, that you have the power to turn everything into good also. And today we're going to describe that power and how you can leverage it. It's the missing link that you've been looking for, that you've been seeking. And that's why you're here today, is because you've been seeking, how do I know this? How can I allow this into my experience and have all the things that I want? And this is the last. Today is going to, you're going to be able to, we're going to put it all together and put it all together for you so that you can create even more of the things that you desire. On a side note, this top performer that shared this mother that shared this story, she started to shake. And she said, "Oh my God." And she just started to cry, burst out crying. And she said, "I feel so free. I am so free. I understand the creator that I am. I understand that I mold all the energy with my thoughts that go to my feelings, and my feelings then are the signal out to God. So it's not my words that source that God hears. It's my my feelings. And so for me to just monitor my feelings and make sure that I'm feeling good, that I now have trust in God and realize that when I feel good, that lines me up with God. And then all the things that I've asked for come to me. And so know that that's the truth, and this is what's going to happen with you. The other side note about this person is this person closed 6 homes within the last couple of weeks, and all due to top performers, that her life is just abundant. And so if you haven't closed 6 yet, you be grateful for whatever has happened and know that all of that is coming to you as well. Be happy for this person. This person has realized that Christ said, know the truth and you shall be set free. And you are knowing the truth now on how to be set free, like this participant and this top performer, this mom, and this magnificent creator who is now $1 million agent, $1 million of business or more a month. And so how amazing, and realize that you can have this as well. So the path to all your desires is emotional, and we're going to look at our agenda. And the first point of our agenda is to look at where have we come from in the last 5 weeks. Where have we come in the last 4 weeks, and now this being the 5th? That where have we come, and where did this all begin? And so I want to review this with you, and I want you to write down for you, thinking back like in the first session together, and with the first being intentional on the MP3 and being intentional, that I want you to think back, and as you do, write down the main highlights of the things, because in fact, what has happened is I have helped you to start changing the way that you think. And as you change the way that you think, that you start changing the results, start changing your life the way that you want it. And so it's a gradual process, and it's kind of like a ship. For years, since you were just a little girl or boy, that you have been brought up with these beliefs. And so you have the ship pointed in the wrong direction for the most part. And now just imagine that you're turning this ship. And the beautiful thing is you're starting to get momentum now as you turn your ship and start turning in the direction, as again Christ said, turn the other cheek, for you to turn the other cheek and to recognize that I'm going to move my direction of focus from the things that I don't want and what aren't working. I'm going to change it to what is working, what I do want. And as I change that, it's only possible then to get more of whatever I am focused on, and that new direction. So think of yourself now in this new, beautiful direction in which you stand. You stand in your power and your light and your beauty of all that you are. And so as we go through, and again, this in our agenda here, to be thinking about Success Unit 1 and how we talked about the different red zones and how that we were typically living in a very reactive mode, that something would happen and then we would respond and we would talk about what we wanted, but it's just too late. It's kind of like jumping out of an airplane and then remembering that you forgot your parachute. So just hang on and it'll be over soon. Now that we have talked about them, we talked about, like, for example, doing busy work, and that you're getting excited about you and your life, and that you are the creator. The reason why busy work and procrastination had entered into your life is because you weren't excited about life, because you felt you weren't in control. And the fact is, you weren't in control, because we were thinking about what other people were thinking, what other people were achieving. We were being, envious of that we were thinking that, hey, I've asked for stuff and I haven't gotten it. And remember, we talked about, I asked for yellow, that beautiful, thriving business, that thriving life, that happiness, that good health, and that's yellow. And then during the day, though, that we start asking for our prayer is whatever we're thinking about. And then we start thinking about, I don't like this, what I'm seeing on the news, or I don't like this, that this person did this to me, or I don't like this because of the the client. And so that's red. And so when you take the yellow and the red together, that you get oranges. And you say, I did not ask for oranges, and I mustn't be the creator of my experience. But now you recognize, oh my goodness, all I got to do is think about that yellow, about that bright sunshine, about all that beautiful things on that I want, and then that'll come to me. So as we looked at that's where busy work. So if you've had any busy work or procrastination previously, it's no big deal. None of this is a big deal because everything is flowing on your behalf. And so you just know that you're loved, you're supported, and you're guided on your behalf to all the things that you want. And again, as I'm sharing these ideas, I want you to write them down on the ones that make your heart sing, because in fact, these are the things that are going to help you to become all that you are, all that you desire, and all that is coming. And all kinds of good things are coming your way. In fact, last night I was writing a couple things down, and in fact, I'm going to go get it right now. And I really love this. That it says, and so I would suggest you write this down. But everything I want falls right into my lap. And so write that down. Say everything I want just falls right into my lap. Okay, the work is over, ladies and gentlemen. The work is over. The struggle is over. That this is a fun time, and everything you want falls into your lap. That I wrote down also, you know how we've talked about out of the blue, and that you've all experienced now some out of the blue things which it tells you that, oh, that's right, I don't have to do the how. The Father does the work. The Father within me does the work. And so isn't that great that I don't have to be concerned with that? And so we've talked about, all of a sudden out of the blue things happen. And so I know that you guys have had closings, that you've had out of the blue clients, out of the blue referral partners. The easiest way to build business. I was speaking with a real estate agent yesterday in Austin. And she said, well, I want leads. And I say, I can get you leads, and I can. And I have many resources to get leads, and you'd have to qualify. And there's different things that need to be done. But I have many resources to get leads. But I asked her, I said, the easiest and the most effective way to get leads is through referral partnerships. And she said, well, I know about referrals, but what are referral partnerships? So the fact is that, she doesn't, she was hoping that if she got a referral, that's kind of how she did it. And she wasn't disciplined in actually identifying referral partners, going to them, and then meeting with them every couple of weeks. And so know that this is now for you, that you have started to create a new process in your life. On any business that you're in, this is an effective process. And so to be able to identify referral partners, clients, previous clients, neighborhoods that you closed in, or whatever business that you may be, your hairdresser, that your kid's school, your old school, your old friends, your family, that you are connected to at least 250 people. And so because of that there's plenty of opportunity for you to have that. But back to fun statements, so everything I want falls right into my lap. Things come to me from out of the sky. So you maybe want to write that down. Things come from me from out of the sky, because a lot of people have told you in the past on that, what do you think? Things can just fall right in your lap? Or they say, what do you think? It comes right out of the sky? The answer is, you're damn right. That I love this one. And again, I just sit and I just start writing, and that source just starts feeding me these beautiful thoughts that just make my heart sing. But here's another one. The things I seek are now seeking me. So isn't that a great one? The things that I seek are now seeking me. So if you're seeking clients, clients are now seeking you. If you're seeking referral partners are seeking you. If you're seeking health, health is seeking you. And one that I really like is when you're seeking money, money is seeking you. And you will see, as long as you allow it, you abe it, allow, believe, and expect. As long as you abe it, you allow it, believe it, and expect it, money is coming to you in all kinds of different directions. And so you just know that and you expect that. And remember, when money doesn't come, or you don't have the money, you don't think about it. You just talk to yourself about it, and you talk yourself into on the things that you do want. And so you just talk yourself into the things that you want and don't pay any attention to what's going on currently. So if you don't have enough money right now, do not think about you not having enough money, because that calls forth to you not enough money. And so what you want to do is just think, yeah, I know money, lots of money's coming from my business. In fact, I'm going to allow it from many different ways. Maybe it's the lottery. You know, I won like last week again, and I just go in, I have fun on this. And I did a couple scratch offs, or I think I spent $25 at scratch offs, and I won $130. You know, like, how does that happen? And these people in the store say, you know, nobody wins like you do. You're lucky. No, 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 no. I create my luck. I make my luck. And so I make it the way that I want it. And so, and I literally have won thousands of dollars, but it's all fun. It's all enjoyable. And that I have just out of the blue business opportunities because I ask. And so here is another thing I'd like you to ask, to write down, and to start asking. And we talked about it a little before, but I have even done it because it added a few things to it, especially because on the money end of it. Because remember, money is just freedom. The more money that you have, the more money the world has. See, we just create and attract money. There were no billionaires. Now there's billionaires. How does that happen? And billionaires, I'm telling you, they help so many people in so many different ways with their businesses that they have, that it's just amazing, incredible on what money is. But see, we've been taught that there isn't enough to include money. And we also have been taught in a very subtle way that if you take from this person money, you're taking away from them. And that if you get lots of money, you're taking away from other people. And the fact is that's not true. As you receive money, that money expands, and then you use that money to go pay for gas, to go pay for food, to go, and that gives people jobs. And so everything just keeps on getting more and more and more. And the person that paid you money, they did that because of very good reasons. You are priceless. You gave them a home that, you know, it's more than dollars. A home, a house is just dollars, but a home and the experiences that are going to happen, you are priceless in what you do. And so you recognize that you deserve, like some people that when I first start coaching with, they say, oh, I'm going to give a discount to these people because they're friends. And I say, oh my God. And so for those of you that aren't real estate agents, the normal commission is 3% of whatever the sale price is. And so they want to go down to 2%. And I said, oh, you can't be doing a discount on this, that you're discounting yourself, that because they are your friend or your family, that the fact is that you should charge them 4 or 5% or maybe 6%, because you're going to give them superior service that nobody else would ever give them. But because they are your friend, because they are your family, you're going to just charge them the regular standard rate. And you're not going to charge them the premium rate, even though you're giving them premium service. So anyways, this whole idea about that, yes. And so here's the statement to write down is, I now want ideal business building ideas. So I now want ideal business building ideas, opportunities, and manifestations that create large sums of passive income for me. Because in fact, you really do want large sums of passive income. Once you start having passive income coming to you, you're going to say, wow, do I love that. And so if you're thinking right now, well, I can't do that, there's no way I can't think of passive income, ask for passive income. God will deliver it to you. I have streams of different passive income that I had no idea how to do it at all. I just asked for passive income, and I have passive incomes from all kinds of things, from my books, from my services, from my products, from the different things I'm involved with real estate, with different businesses. I couldn't begin to tell you on how. Just yesterday, for example, that I check my assessments. I have these assessments, and people then, use assessments to help their companies or whatever. And so it's just passive income. All I have to do is invoice them. So I invoiced them yesterday for a couple $1,000s. And so it took me about 2 minutes for a couple $1,000s. Well, if you make $1,000 a minute, that's a lot of money. And the value that those people get out of that is incredible. But just start being easy on yourself, that you don't have to work hard anymore. That remember, the path to all of your desires is simply an emotional path. It's not a work hard path. It's not, I'm going to go figure this out. I'm going to fix these problems. I'm going to go do. Because then we just get do, right? That, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lighten up. I'm going to be easy. I recognize that all that I want comes from my good feelings. And so I'm going to just have good feelings, and I'm going to trust that God is then going to bring me all the things that I do want. So back to, I had these fun kind of sentences that I was doing. So everything I want falls right into my lap. Things come to me from out of the sky or out of the blue, right? The things I seek are now seeking me. And isn't that great? See, because the things you were seeking, because those were things you didn't want, those things kept on popping up in your life. And you said, I've asked, I don't want so-and-so, and whatever you say, like, I don't want that double negative, that you have to just think about what you do want, because it's impossible for your feelings to, when you're thinking about what you don't want, it's impossible for your feelings to be on what you do want when you're thinking about what you don't want. And so thus, you have been asking, in essence, when you say, I don't want any more of this in my life, that in essence, that is, you're emotionally, you're feeling about the things you don't want. And remember, the other little bitty tricky part of this is, on every subject, there's either the abundance of it or the lack of it. And so if you say, I want more money, but you're thinking you don't have enough money, those feelings, because you can't lie to the universe, you can't lie to God, that God doesn't hear your words, it feels your feeling. And so for you to recognize, I'm going to feel my feelings. So back to these, that the things I seek are now seeking me. And then I hold the intention of seeing love, and that is all that I now see. And so again, that's a little bit deeper, but everything is love. You come from love. Okay. God made everything. God is love. And you're going to see emotionally on that top level, when you're at the top of the emotional scale, and we're going to review the emotional scales today, and you're going to see at the top of that scale is love. And so you start seeing and you start asking, I want to see love in everything, in everybody, in every circumstance, in every event, that you're going to start seeing love. And that love is abundance, it's good. And then it just is like dominoes, that you just hit that love domino and all the dominoes that relate to love. And so it's abundance and happiness and joy and peace and lots of money and lots of clients and lots of passive income and, all the things that you desire. So anyways, those are the four fun little sentences that I had written down last night. And so back to thinking about, where have we been? So, we went into the 3 different red zones in week 1, and we looked at, especially the red zone, we talked about thinking about what we want, but doing it non-deliberately, and usually that's too late. We're in the middle of the muck. We start asking for what we want, and that's why we have the joy shop. That before we get in the middle of the muck of what we don't want, what we do is we use the joy shop and we start planning it, pre-paving it, thinking about the things that we do want, appreciating the things that happened in the last 24 hours, and then pre-paving the way that we want it. And so that is your ticket to heaven. Your ticket to everything that you wanted is your ability to go into that joy shop, and that gets you out of that red zone and that gets you into the green zone. So we talk busy work also, and that's where you're thinking about things you don't want, and you're doing it non-deliberately again. And so then you just kind of go, there's procrastination, there's busy work, and that those things go away now because you're getting fired up. You're realizing, my goodness, I can have all the abundance that I want. I can have it the way that I want it. I can have it the way that I expected to when I came here. I want to just skip along my happy path, because your lighted path is simply your happy path. And so by you skipping along on your happy path, I was with coaching with a person yesterday. In my coaching, I do a lot of different things. So, I'm a business coach, but also life coach. So right now I have a mentee that isn't happy with their current situation in a relationship. And so, and she came in and she just started talking to me about all the things that she didn't want. And so, what do you want? And so, oh my gosh, she started creating this just magnificent life on her being a successful agent, and how she has her dad as support that's going to help her, and how she has this other person in her life that's just great. And I mean, it just went on and on and on. And by the time she left, she was on cloud nine and she was on her happy path. Stop thinking about the things that disturb you, that you don't like, and that just start going in the direction of where you want. And then God will figure out the how on how to, whether it's that relationship just drifts off to someplace else, or that person's current relationship that, they just do and go where they want. And so, so you have the ability now to, I am fired up on life. I can create it the way that I want it. There's no bad thing that's against me, that is working against me. There's only well-being. Remember, we learned that there's only good that flows to you. And all that is loves you, supports you, wants to guide you, but you have to allow it. You've been given this amazing free will to think as you want, and thus that means to feel as you want. And now you're recognizing you just want to feel good, because that's where God is. And where God is are all the things also that you desire and that you want. And as you're up there, you uplift and become the light of the world. So you help all others. You don't help others when you're in your pity party. You don't help others when you're fighting for your lack and limitation. In fact, you're bringing them down with you. And so now you're going to bring them up with you because of the amazing person that you are. So we then talked about the red zone, about being thinking about the things we don't want and doing it deliberately focusing on the crap we don't want. And right, yeah, the committee members, and that fear and that worry and that doubt. The more you keep on thinking about that, the bigger it's going to get. And so the beauty is that we don't have to think about that at all, that you now trust in the Lord, you now understand on how life works, that you have made it. This is your graduation day. Put your cap and gown on and go out and yell to the world that you are now free, that you know the truth and you are now free. Hallelujah. Amen. That you get it now. And you just say, this is so great and so fun. And I so look forward to the fact that now that I'm focused in the green zone, so that is where I think deliberately about the things that I do want, that all of those fears and worry, all those committee members just go to the sideline. They no longer, they dissipate. You have shined your light on them, and they're like a shadow. And when you shine your light on them, they go away. They're not there. They were never there other than what you created. And so now we're not going to create that. Instead, we're going to live in that green zone, and we're going to be deliberate and intentional and do what we want. So that was in our first session, just an amazing session. And because of time, I'm going to, go through each one, but not in such depth. But in our second session together, that we talked about understanding yourself and others, and you recognize the beautiful God-given behavior styles that you have on the DISC, driver, influencer, steady, conscientious, and that you recognize that people are going to be different than you. And so we actually taught you on how with the driver that you want to be efficient. With the influencer, you want to be exciting. You want to be you want to kind of get with them on their vibration up there. On the steady, you want to be agreeable. On the conscientious, you want to be accurate because they're involved with, they like data and facts. And then we also learned that there are 6 different ways that motivate people, and all of us are motivated differently in those 6 different areas. And so the main 3 that you want to focus on is that most people, and this is your advertising, your marketing, the way that you're listening to people, okay, because you want to start talking other people's language and to recognize that they are utilitarian, want a return on investment. So most people are going to make decisions, whether they're buying a house or any other thing, making any type of decision, return on investment, and then theoretical, they like knowledge, and then social, helping other people. So those are the 3 that you make sure you include, and you're listening to those clues that they bring up in there when speaking to you, so that you can pick up what they value. Because most of us talk about our values to other people, and that's like talking to the wind, that it doesn't get you anywhere. You have to talk other people's values. So it really helped us to better understand others as well as ourselves and reduce our stress. In Success Unit 3, that we learned about beliefs. And you learned that virtually all of your beliefs aren't your own. In fact, they are beliefs that have been handed down typically for generation after generation after generation. This includes virtually everything. That what we currently know, I can tell you in the future that we'll be changing what we currently know about how the world is or whatever. Just in the last few hundred years, we were taught, our ancestors were taught the world was flat and it's round. We were told that the sun goes around the earth. And it's actually the earth goes around the sun. I mean, things, just unbelievable things, that because most of our ancestors come from Europe, that then those settlers here, they were Christian, and so thus we became Christian. But understand, if you were born in India, you would be a different religion. And this is nothing against anything. It's for you, and for you to now awaken and realize, oh my gosh, I have a way in order to be directed at every moment. And in fact, one of the main points, it's the 4th universal law that I've alluded to a lot, but that 4th law is that I'm guided through my emotions. When I feel bad, that means I'm thinking differently than my source is. When I feel good, it means I'm thinking as my source is. So when you're thinking about things that aren't working out well, that things that you don't like, that when you think about that, you feel bad, and your source is telling you, stop thinking about that in that way, or just completely stop thinking about it, because feeling bad isn't where God is, and isn't where the essence of who you are, isn't where your soul is, okay, your inner being. And so to recognize, wow, this is just amazing, knowing that my beliefs, my beliefs that I can have is being guided by me every moment of every day, always has and always will be. And so we looked at some beliefs that no longer serve you, And so look at those beliefs. You may say, well, I'm a woman and there's a glass ceiling. Quit saying that. Oprah is a woman and there's no glass ceiling for her. Or the color of my skin. And, President Obama, so that if you start and see these people inspire us because we recognize, wow, the beliefs that I had that, just aren't the case, that this person proved that that's wrong. It's kind of like the mile, the 4-minute mile, that nobody ever ran the mile under 4 minutes. The first person that ran under a mile, then it just started clipping right along. And now, runners that are professionally doing that, everybody runs under under a 4-minute mile. It's like, oh my gosh, that I see how this is. Everything is ran by the mental. When you start believing it before you see it, then you'll have it. And that's a great one to understand and to know. We then moved into our beliefs. And so now what you want to do is start believing. And the first thing that I want you to believe in is yourself. You are just awesome. You are brilliant. Look at all that you have achieved just in these 5 past weeks, that you have just been amazing. And again, you're going to see more and more of your brilliance. You are like a flower that is blossoming, and you just started to open up your petals, that you are going to blossom into even this more beautiful flower, this essence of who you are, that's just going to get better and better. And so I want you to know that and believe that. And then also to believe that there is a power that you probably were brought up with, that was the term God. You might use source, that you may use your soul, your inner being, whatever, but there is a power that does the work for you. And so when you recognize that and realize that all you need to do is to be thinking about the things that you do desire, that you do like, that turns into your emotion, and your emotion then sends a signal out, and your source responds. So to believe in God and to believe in the 5-step process that I shared with you on how life works, and that is your thoughts turn into an emotion. That emotion sends a signal to the universe. That signal then goes to it goes back to you, and with it in energy form, all the things that you ask, and all you have to do is allow it to believe it, and then you'll be able to receive it. So ask and receive is accurate, but there's those steps in between, and especially your ability to always be asking about what you want and not thinking about what you don't want, and then also to allow this in. That can it get better than this? Yes. And in fact, a great one to write down, a great statement is, you just kind of ask the universe, ask God, okay, how does it get any better than this? And God will respond and just loves that, and will give you better than this, because you're thinking about better than this. And the more that you think about better than this, the way that you have it, the more that will start coming to you. So believe that and know that. And then finally, last week, we talked about prioritizing. And for us to prioritize in this monthly planning, it's the 2 most important hours you can do at the end of every month. And so next month, you want to schedule this month, at the end of this month, to invest 2 hours to start planning it the way you want it. That is living in the green zone. So I'm giving you hands-on tools that will help you in order to live in that green zone. The best hands-on tool as far as other people would be to coach with me. And so if you have an interest with that, I sent you the coaching application. And if anything, you should fill that out. And we should talk about it and see whether or not you want to do it, because I can help you get into that green zone and expand your imagination and give to you more things than you have ever realized. So if you want 6 closings, if you want to feel the joy and the complete pure freedom of who you are and realizing the deliberate creator that you are, I can help with that. So that was our review. And so part of our agenda was a recap of our amazing journey together. And this week now really takes it to understanding that all of our desires are manifested emotionally. and that you are a vibrational being. And so by vibration, your energy, and you manage that energy with your thoughts, which means you can manage your bodily health. Remember, for health, the number one thing to have good health is have good feeling thoughts. Thought is the name of the game. As you have just good feeling thoughts and just enjoy yourself, that you're going to be feeling better, and that's going to raise this vibration of you so that you can meet the vibration of your source. And when you and your source are equal and feeling each other, and so I write down. Uh, let's see, I put so in the morning, like this morning when I did my joy shop, that I say, and something to write down, that I want to be the vibrational essence of who I am. And so I want to be the vibrational essence of who I am. And so who you are is this beautiful made in the image and likeness of God, an extension of source energy, that when you get and lighten yourself up and brighten yourself up to the equal of your source, that then literally the heavens part and all the things that you have asked for come to you. Because when you feel good, as your source feels good, then it is then possible to get all the things that you have asked for. And then we look at, and so this is going to be really neat, that I'm going to be able to show you a scale now. It's kind of like the way that we were able to do the profile, the assessment, and look at the 4 bars of, who you really are, the 2 graphs on who you really are and how you modify your behavior. Well, I'm going to show you what vibrations bring you what you don't want. And so it's a vibrational scale. And then I'll show you vibrations that bring you what you do want. So it literally is going to be the answers to all the things that you have wanted, is that it's going to give you these you're going to understand exactly the type of vibrations that you will want in order to have all that you want and you desire and to be happy. And so just know that that is all coming your way here within the next few minutes. And then we'll look at next steps to take you beyond your imagination and take you to those vibrations that your source holds. And so as you start taking on the vibration of your source, and so that's a great quote, I now take on the vibration of my source. So write that down. I now take on the vibration of my source. And I'd like you to include that in your joy shop, and that as you do, you'll just start seeing that getting better and better. Another thing about the joy shop is, if you would like another joy shop, that when coaching with me, we also have a monthly lesson at the end of the month, and then we do our monthly planning. And one of the things that I'll provide you, because you're a top performer now, is that I'll give you a new joy shop. So if you'd like to have a more advanced, if you will, joy shop, because we do have a tendency to kind of start reading it and not put emotion in it. And remember, the name of the game is emotion. So if you're just doing your joy shop without too much emotion in it, because it's kind of the same old thing, write me, email me, call me, whatever, and let me know that you want another joy shop, and I'll give you an advanced version of a joy shop that will take you to a new higher level, because you are now ready, because you are in this 5th week that you're ready to take the next leap to, and where's that leap taking you? To paradise, to all the things that you desire. So that's our agenda, and so let's get to it. And so you are a vibrational being. And so what does that mean? First of all, you need to understand that everything is energy. Okay, source energy, God is energy, this loving energy. There isn't some guy that's sitting up in a place called heaven that, that's kind of like the Wizard of Oz type of thing. And the guy ended up being some guy that there is this loving energy that is there, and we can mold this energy with our thought. So everything is energy. And again, you look at your hand, and if you look at your hand right now, you think it looks like this solid, form and with these five fingers, whatever. And the fact is that this is all energy moving. And so, in fact, there's even more space in between these atoms, empty space, than there are the materials. So, really, what we think, and remember, our senses are somewhat deceiving. So, we look out, I'm looking out the window right now of this magnificent forest, and it looks like the world is flat. And the fact is, it's not flat at all. And when I saw the sun coming up, it looked like the sun was moving when really I was moving. So that don't, but we've been taught, hey, start facing reality. Well, tell me, what is reality then? And literally, all of us have been told one way or another to, face reality, get serious, whatever. And that the facing of reality, well, good luck trying to figure out what reality is, because our senses certainly don't deceive us as far as what the reality is on a lot of different things. So the reality, and just take this as truth, as fact, that everything is energy. And that includes we are energy. So we are energy beings, and this energy, again, we can mold with our thoughts. We create and direct the energy with our thoughts. And so these are all things. So again, that I was asked the other day, well, aren't we co-creators? And the fact is, absolutely. Out of the five steps, that we do the asking, that sends the feeling, and then source answers. So source does the how, the when, the where, the who. We do what and why, and so we're co-creators of this. So direct the energy, if you will, we direct it. It's not ours per se. It's all that is. It's the universe. It's this energy. And we, though, have the power, unlike the animals or other living creatures in this world, that we have the power to use our thoughts to mold that energy into what we want. You are literally the creator of your experience, of your life. You are literally in the center of the universe. The universe goes around you. Why? Because you have the thoughts, and so you're there, and you can pull in anything from the universe, and that's why you are at the center of your universe. Why is it your universe? It's your thoughts. And so your thoughts then mold and create and call forth the energy to where you're literally in the center of your universe. And so, this is just so magnificent. Hopefully you just got God bumps all over you saying, oh my God, this is so fantastic. I so appreciate on how I am an extension of Source, how much I love. And as far as a relationship, the number one relationship that I want you to appreciate is yourself. Because you are made in the image and likeness of God. You are an extension of Source energy. And for you to appreciate yourself, stop bad-mouthing yourself. Stop looking at, I got some wrinkles, or I got some zits, or, whatever, that you have this magnificent body, okay? That this awesome functioning body, you have this awesome mind, these feelings, these systems, your respiratory system. Just think about on you breathing, and that goes into your lungs, and then that goes into your blood system, your circulatory system. It gives your whole body oxygen. I mean, it's just incredible who you are. So I want you to stop bad-mouthing yourself if you are, and I want you to appreciate yourself first more than anything. The relationship that I want you to behold, to love, to embrace more than anything is the relationship between you and your soul, your inner being, whatever you want to call it, you and God. That is the most important relationship. And if you truly want to have this loving relationship with God, that the pathway there is this emotional path where you're feeling good. When you feel bad, you aren't on the path with God, and you aren't honoring God's thoughts on how God is looking at things. And so for you to recognize, oh my gosh, this is the pathway for me to align and to be at one with God. And when you realize that, and when you just start recognizing that, I just love this. And when I feel good, that means I'm with God. And that way, I'm really building this loving relationship with the most important relationship that I want. And that is with my God, with my soul, with my inner being, whatever word that you want to use, that with my source, that's how to build that relationship. You literally deteriorate that relationship as you're feeling bad. And so thus, even more reason on why, wow, I'm going to just feel good. Amen? All right. So the fourth universal law. So last time we talked about 3 universal laws. Do you remember what those were? They're critical for you to understand where you are. So think about, what's the first universal law that I taught you? And that is that we are leading edge creators. And you are now a deliberate creator. You have become enlightened, awakened, and you recognize now, wow, I can call it the way that I want it. I am now a deliberate leading edge creator. All that is literally surrounds your thoughts. And so, like, this is the happening place. But we sometimes don't think it's a happening place because we're, again, back into these thoughts on what we don't want. And so you're now making it the happening place for you, too, because all that is surrounding you, and it's the happening place for them. The only person that hasn't, or only being that hasn't been enjoying the ride sometimes, is us. And so now we're going to say, I'm going to enjoy this ride too. This is a happening place. I get it. And so I'm going to be surrounded. So that was a universal law number 1, that we're leading edge creators, and you're now a leading edge deliberate creator. You literally are in the top 1% of mankind, because most people are not very deliberate in their thinking, and that they are swayed by what is happening right now. And if you're swayed by that, you're just going to get swayed more into whatever's happening. And so now you're recognizing, I'm going to think about what will be. So that was universal law number 1. Universal law number 2, there is only well-being that flows to you. There's only good flowing to you. You, however, have the opportunity to become uncomfortable and create dis-ease. And so that's where the dis-ease comes from. That I just saw a video on Facebook on this nurse. It's the oldest working nurse in America. She's 90 years old, and she didn't look 90 at all. And she was all peppy, and they had a surprise birthday party for her, and she's out, kind of dancing and doing a little rock there. That, it's just amazing. And that's because she's aligned with Source, that she's happy where she is. She loves where she is. And so she sees the good in everything, to include, by the way, that death. And remember, death is a misunderstanding. Death is really just a transition. We're just changing our energy form from a body back to our consciousness. And then who knows where we go from there. Maybe some other place, or maybe back onto this earth. But none of that matters. That's not for our concern. What's our concern is this present moment. This is the only time that we'll ever have in all of eternity in order to create what we want. And so thus, we're going to create our lives the way that we want it. This is where our power is right now. And to think about what will be, that I have a long and healthy and prosperous life. And you continue to say that, and you'll continue to get that. I just came out with a new assessment that measures stress. And so I can measure people's stress in the areas that it's coming from, and then solutions on how to reduce stress. And so I wrote to one of my colleagues who uses my assessments, and I shared with him that, hey, here's a way for people to have a long and healthy, prosperous life like we are having. And so it's just the assumptive role that this is my life. I have a long and happy and prosperous life. I proclaim it and you proclaim it now, and you own that and you recognize this is who I am, what I want, and that I just love that I have this life that I can have in this present moment, that what I want to be able to be, do, and have. And again, your power is only right now, and thinking about what will be, as far as what you want to be, do, and have, is a way to have the heavens rejoice, the angels sing, the harps play, is for you to be happy. There's nothing that makes your source, that makes God happier, than for you to be happy, and now you know the path. So that was the second law, is there's only this well-being that flows. And so if you use that one quote I gave you, I hold the intention of seeing love, and that is now all that I see is love, that you will automatically just raise up. You're like a bobber that you've been holding down with resistance, a bobber in the water, okay? And now that you only see love, it's like you let go of that resistance. And in that state of allowing, the bobber pops up on the stream of abundance and merrily goes down its way in the stream of abundance. And that's how you are now. And so you just imagine, yeah, I have right now, this instant, I've released that bobber there in that water, and that cork in the water, okay, I've released that, and now it flows right on top of the water, and that water is the stream of abundance, and I now am in the stream of abundance and flow with my God, with my source, with my inner being, with my soul. Hallelujah. Huh? So only well-being flows. And there's how it is. I'm the only one that can hold on to bobber. I'm no longer going to have that resistance and that resistant thought. And then the third law is that cooperative components rally around my thoughts. So whatever I'm thinking about, cooperative components, similar minded components will come. You can call it angels. You can call it God. You can call it, your helpers, that Christ, whatever you want to call. They're all there, and they are all cooperative on wherever you are. And they're going to either lower you down because they're going to give you more of whatever you're asking for. More is the mantra of God. So if you're thinking about what you don't want, you'll get more of what you don't want. But when you're thinking about what you do want, you'll get more of what you do want. And my friends, I'm telling you, this is it. This is how life works. This is just an amazing, incredible understanding, and I can feel it, that you are starting to really awaken and enlighten to, wow, this is so great. I don't have to be in this struggle or work or anything, that I have all that is, all that have walked before me, all the angels, all of God. I have everything that helps and supports me and does the how. All I need to do is sit here and think about it. And then that thinking creates the feeling and sends a signal. And so out to source, and source answers immediately, every time. No hesitation, no question, no holding back, that everything is getting, when you call, that God comes calling. And so you just know, wow, I'm going to make sure I'm calling what I want from now on. Okay, so cooperative components. So you're a leading edge creator. There's only well-being that flows to you, and cooperative components then guide you, love you, and support you in all the things that you desire. And now the fourth universal law, and that our source communicates with us through our feelings. We're guided, have been, on every moment of our life. We just were told, hey, don't pay attention to your feelings. Wow. They meant well, but man, that is not the case. Don't listen to your intuition. Don't listen to that little voice within you. Instead, it's, hey, look what the world is showing you, and look at what happened to so-and-so. So-and-so did it this way, so you should do it this way. No, the only reason why I work with so-and-so is because they had the belief that it would work. And so then we pick that up. And so we say, oh, must be how life works because this is how it worked with them. No, it's how life works because of what their belief was. And so you're now changing your beliefs and starting to recognize, oh my gosh, I'm guided, supported, and loved at all time. And with this fourth universal law that my source, God, communicates with me at all times, always has. I'm the only one that has shut off that communication to some extent. Have you ever done something where you said, oh gosh, it's just, it's such a great big opportunity, but there's just something that doesn't feel right about it. Don't do it. And that is where, and I want you to write this down, that I want you to start listening to your intuition. I want you to start cherishing your intuition. Now, you could kind of go back and you could think in your past history and say, well, when I thought about my one intuition that it didn't work out. But that's just your perception that it didn't work out. That the fact is that you're here right now because of all those experiences you had. You're here right now being enlightened. Like, it doesn't get any better than this. Actually, it will get better now, but it doesn't get any better than this versus what I have had, because I've been under somebody else's beliefs that they proved it, and then I believed it, and then I proved it to myself. And the fact is that I want you to start listening to your intuition, and I only want you to take the second. So one thing to write down is that I'm going to listen to my intuition. I'm going to listen to my feelings. When it feels good, I'm going to do it. When it doesn't feel good, I'm not going to do it. And we have a lot of confusion over all of that. And to start with is sex, that we were told, hey, you're not supposed to have sex. It's bad, whatever. But it felt good. So when it feels good, it's bad. And then when it's bad, it would feel good. And it's like, no, that's not bad at all. It's great. It's rocking. And that's one of the things that we're here for. I'm telling you, all the angels are all loving all that, it's good. That's why is it called, making love. But again, we've been misconstrued. We've been given wrong ideas about stuff. And then they tried to protect us and whatever reasons. But the fact is that we have a lot of confusion over that. But that confusion ends now. I want you to go with your feelings. Wherever your feelings are, that's God talking to you on whether it's something you want to pursue or not. So that's number one, that I'm going to listen to my intuition. And I'm going to actually give you part of the success assignment inspired steps that I'm going to give you this week. Is I'll give you an EQ, emotional intelligence. I kind of like IQ, okay, intelligent quotient, and everybody puts so much highlight on intelligent quotient. It pales to EQ, your emotional quotient, and your emotional intelligence. And so you're going to actually be given a small assessment. I have a larger one. If you're interested in that, I have a more statistically accurate and valid one, but I'm going to give you, for right now, you're going to be given an EQ evaluation, and to take that and to start recognizing that, wow, it's God guiding me. I mean, this is no like, well, I wonder if this is right or not. No, it's God guiding me. And as long as I don't have doubt and I just allow it in, then I'm going to be directed exactly where I want to be. So first thing to write down, that I want to be guided by my intuition, by my feelings, okay? The second thing is I'm only going to take inspired actions. That if you all of a sudden sit down and say, well, I'm going to go call 20 clients, that because I'm supposed to, and like a lot of coaches do that. I had someone come back to me, I helped them actually they became a millionaire. They left, and they basically just kind of got off the path, and then they went to some other coach. They were embarrassed to come back to me, so they went to some other coach, and this coach was telling them, hey, listen, you got to make 20 phone calls and everything. And she did that for about 3 months, and she said, this does not feel good at all, and it just feels good to get back to the hankers. So she came back, to me, and she said, yeah, that I have these coaches that, they're into all this doing, and I just know that that's not right, and it didn't feel good, and thus she was back to go build her business again. And so you just know that, hey, I'm going to be guided by. So the second thing is inspired action. So I'm going to be guided by, I'm going to only take action that's inspired action. So I'm going to get inspired on this and really lift my vibration up on the things that I want. So I don't want you to do anything where you're saying, oh, I got to go do, just don't do it. Okay. It's a waste of time, no matter how good it is, no matter what anybody says, because you're not emotionally involved in it. I want you to be emotionally involved in everything you do. And if you aren't emotionally involved in anything, then go take a nap, go walk your dog, go out in the park, go do something that makes you feel good and reduces your resistance and puts you into allowing. So under this fourth law, universal law, that know that when I feel bad, that means I'm thinking away from God, that I'm no longer on my path, my happy path with God. I'm thinking about something and now feeling about something that is not good, and it's not with God. And I want to be with God. So I want to feel good. And when I feel good, I want to milk it. And so that way I am with God. And I had a person the other day say to me, oh my God, your coaching just has been so amazing that I'm just feeling so good. But, I just really didn't want to tell anybody about it. And I really thought I really shouldn't feel so good, about it. And I said, oh no. You milk that. And now telling other people about it, that you might want to make sure they're on the same good high flying vibration, because otherwise they'll tell you to just, oh, come on, it's just your feelings or whatever. And they're going to tell you their beliefs. So sometimes, and much of this that I'm teaching you, you have to basically keep to yourself. Because if you go try to tell somebody, hey, just start listening to your intuition, they're going to think, hey, you got some real problems. We need to hospitalize you. And what I want you to do is recognize, no. They got the problems, but that's their problem. It has nothing to do with you. That you're happy and you're going to be guided by God now, and you're going to truly do what the churches teach, that you're going to truly be that. Okay, that Christ only said church, by the way, one time, so there really isn't a big focus on church per se. That and like I say, just listen to what Christ said, and you're fine. And no matter what religion or whatever that you are, that listen to your feelings. That's all you need to do, and that's God talking to you. You don't need any boy, you don't need any anything other than listening to your good feelings. And so when you feel good, milk it. So I stopped that letter and I said, no, I want you to milk it. I want you to just revel in this and revel in your good feelings and just feel that. So I know that all of you have had those moments recently now in the last 4 or 5 weeks where you said, hey, I'm really starting to feel good about this. And when you do, just start rocking on that. Don't start thinking about what you got to go fix or the problems you have or whatever. Just continue to milk that, because when you do, so like, for example, you want more money, go down. Yesterday I was with somebody and I said, what do you really like to do or think about? And she said, I love to dance. And I said, but we were working on money, and her problem was she was vibrating very low on money. She thought there wasn't enough of it, etc. And I said, I want you to just think about what is it you like to do. And she said, dance. And I said, so I want you to start dancing, and I want you to just dance, and I want you to think about who's doing the dancing. Like, you feel so good, all of a sudden comes up a new move. You know who's doing that new move? That's God doing that new move. Okay, that's God leading you to even a new move. I'm feeling better on that. That's the power, this energy that you're flowing through you, and that then God leads you. Remember, the miracle is that when you're with God up on that high flying thing and thinking about godly things, and those are things that you like, that you desire, that you want, that then God's going to give you a higher thought. And that's where all the miracles happen, is that higher thought. Well, in this case of dancing, when you get all of a sudden that new move, that new move, that is you. That's God giving you that new move, that new energy to be out there. So anyway, she said, oh, that just rocks. And so she went and she was dancing in her room yesterday, and she emailed me and she said, you wouldn't believe it, I got a client out of the blue. And I said, sure. You weren't thinking about money, that resistant thing, and instead you were thinking about dancing. So go dance, go do something that you enjoy, and then all the money and any other things that you might be resistant to are going to start coming into you. So I want you to milk the things that you like. Okay? And so now I'd like to uh, go to uh, so here are our desires, and hopefully our quality is okay. The audio quality, it said that might be lacking a little. So hopefully you guys are hearing me loud and clear, because now we're going to get into the emotional scale of all there is, and it's just an amazing thing. I think we're good now. And we're power's back on or whatever. But here are desires that are manifested emotionally, and you are a leading edge creator. Your thoughts create this emotion and this vibration, and your emotions send a signal to your source, and your source answers then in energy form and ask. And then when you expect it, that fourth step, by expecting it emotionally, just knowing that your good is coming, that a thriving business is coming, that Prince Charming is coming, that your better health is coming, whatever those things are, you just know that they're coming, and you think about that and you will get that. So we're going to look at the emotional scale of what you don't want. And I want you to put yourself into on when you have felt and experienced these things, and you're going to start resonating with, wow, this is where I was. So at the bottom, so if you imagine emotional scale, at the top is God, at the bottom is hell. Okay. And again, the only hell or devil or whatever is whatever we're cutting off of the well-being that's flowing to us. So negative emotion tells us that we're thinking about this wrong, that we're looking at this differently than God is, that we're off track, that you are off your path, that you're cutting yourself off to the resources that you want. You have all the resources of the entire universe available to you, wanting to, literally pleading with you, giving you hints all the time on, here, you can go this way and you can think that way. And if you go this way, you'll meet that person that you've been wanting to meet. You'll have that client, if you answer that phone, whatever. There's so many hints that are being given all the time. But when I'm not on my path, that I'm cutting myself to all the resources of all that is, and I'm resisting my good, and I'm resisting my God, my source, and my full intent, that I'm resisting it. So here's the emotion. At the bottom of this scale is where you feel disempowered, where you have fear, and you're going to start seeing committee members in here, okay? Where you are disempowered, where you have fear, false evidence appearing real, that where you are feeling unworthy, where you're creating what you don't want. And this can be included as guilt, as shame, as despair, as anger, as worry, as concern. And so notice that anger is actually at a higher level than like shame and guilt, because it's starting to get your power back. So if you're mad, like if you're pissed off at your ex or at the business or the lack of money or whatever, go beat up a pillow, get mad at it. And most psychologists, behavior psychologists like I am, that they would tell you, oh, don't get mad, don't be doing that. No, I want you to get mad. I want you to release those emotions so that you can start grabbing on and realizing the emotions that you do want. And then there is doubt, okay, the opposite of belief, that there's negative expectation. Well, probably won't work out very well. Guess what? You just prepaved on how it's going to be. And if you didn't prepave at all, you get it by default. And since most of the consciousness, humanity, is at about a 40% level, like right here below the good positive line, okay, that odds are you're not going to have a very good life, because there's a lot of negative influence around you. And so you want to take control now. You're going to say, yeah, I'm going to have positive expectancy and positive emotion. And then the word work, stop using the word work. Use play. I'm going to go play. I'm going to go coach. I'm going to go help this person. I'm going to go whatever. But don't use the word work. It's not a very good word. It's like nobody wants to go work. You want to go play, right? And this is all resistance. And so all of these things here have been resistant. You have resisted your own good by having all these things. And now we're putting it all together. You can kind of see now, you can see clearly on, oh my gosh, this committee has put me right into this resistant thought, and it's resisting my good. And I, with the power of my thoughts, can take all the energy of the entire universe. And if I have resistant thoughts, it's going to give me all this crap. And so you say, oh my God, yeah, I remember when I felt so disempowered. I remember when I had fear. I remember when I sat and I cried in my bed and how lonely I felt. Well, you're never, ever alone. I remember in the army, in the military, I was sitting in a cot and I was up on a mountain in Asia, and I'm a Vietnam vet, and I mean I was just scared out of my mind, and I was crying and everything, and all of a sudden this peace came around over me, and I realized that, oh my God, I'm not alone. And so you realize you're never alone. You are loved. If I could, if it were my choice, I wish you were right on my lap right now so I could hug you, so I could kiss your forehead and tell you not only is it okay, but it's all getting better. And just imagine that happening right now, and me hugging you, loving you, kissing you on the forehead, and telling you all is well. Because you just know that, oh my gosh, the only reason why I thought there was this hell is because I was hanging around here on all this resistance stuff that I didn't want. And so where are you going now? You're going to the emotional scale of what you do want. And this is where God resides. This is positive emotion that tells me that I'm thinking about this subject correctly. This is where I'm looking at this as God looks at it. This is an abundant life, an abundant world. You're an abundant person, and that we now are thinking about that. And we and you are on the path now to all the things that we want. We are the light, that this is golden. This is the golden white light, the whitest light beyond your imagination is now shining from you, in you, through you, going out to you in the world, and that you're attracting all the things that you want. You know that you're on track here, that you're on your path, that you're allowing all the resources that you desire to help you. And remember, this is the resources of the universe. All that you want, you have all the resources. All you have to do is ask for it and feel good and expect it to come, and it will come. It has to come. And that you're aligned then. When you're here, you're aligned with your source. You're aligned with your full intent of what you want. So before you came here, your soul, your inner being knew, your source knew on the things that you wanted to continue to grow and expand, the love and the joy and the growth and the happiness. And so that's what you wanted to do. And now you're aligned with that. And that makes you even feel greater, because not only are you this small extension of your source, but now you're aligned with your source. And so you know your full intent of what you want. So it's creating what you and God want. You determine what you want, and then you do it. And because you have that full intent of what your intentions were even before you came here, it's what God wants too. And when you mix those two together, you can then move mountains. And so now you understand that phrase that you can have it all. You can have your cake and eat it too. You can even have the frosting and not get fat. And so there is hope. So hope is just above that line, okay? That hope is nice, but there's nothing like knowing, okay? But hope, hey, I have hope, and so that's good. I am grateful, and grateful is good, but it's not as high as appreciation. So we've been told, hey, you want to have hope and be grateful. Those things are good, and they're on the positive end, but there's bigger, higher things now that you weren't taught about, that such as the word appreciation, such as the word of knowing, that, like some people say, well, I don't know what's going to happen to me next. Well, hell, I do. I know exactly what's going to happen to me next. Something wonderful. Like you can tell right now that I just have source energy flowing to me, infinite intelligence giving me these amazing thoughts and ideas that help lighten you up and brighten you up and open you up and recognize the powerful, magnificent creator that you are. There's positive expectancy. There's positive emotion. There's enthusiasm. Get enthusiastic about what you're you're doing, and if you're not, then stop doing that and go find. And the way to find is just say, hey, I want to get enthusiastic about things. I want things. Here's a great question to ask. I want more things to appreciate. And then let God give you more things to appreciate. I want more things to be enthusiastic about. And God will do the how and bring you more enthusiasm. I want more abundance. I want more money. All you have to do is ask and just love that feeling, knowing and expecting that it to be there for you. Get excited. Get excited about you, about your future, about who you are. Love yourself. You know who's the person that badmouths you more than anybody else? You. Stop it. You are magnificent and beautiful. I want you to love yourself. I want you to have fun. Okay? Think about having fun. It's not about this work. It's about having fun. It's about skipping along on your lighted path. And my book, Good Feeling Thoughts, is just this magnificent picture that I had this painter. It was an image in my mind that I had my painter paint on this magnificent golden path. And it's your path. And we all have that path. And here it is. This is how to get on that golden lighted path, and the path of all that is, and the path of walking hand in hand with God, that it's here. It's knowledge, it's experience, loving this experience, loving that now you can start thinking about something and then see it appear in your experience, and just loving that. And so at the top of this emotional scale is your empowerment, and for you to be empowered and recognize the powerful creator that you are. It is love. And for you to love yourself, to love everything, to see everything as love. Ask to see everything as love, and you're going to start seeing it as love, as good, as abundant, as of everything that you want. Your abundant business. Business is good. It serves. It helps. Money is good. There's plenty of everything. You ask source. It makes more of it. It's just amazing. You don't take away from everything. In fact, you add on to everything as you stand in your empowerment, as you stand in love, as you stand hand in hand and one with God, where you stand with joy, with freedom, being worthy and recognize you were born worthy, and then to appreciate. When you're in a state of appreciation, it automatically tells the universe, I want more of it. And there, my friends, is the answer to all that is the answer to life. You now have it. This has been the fifth week now, the final week that wraps it all up, and recognizing that it is your emotions that lead you to all of the things that you desire. It is the happy path that takes you to your happiness, to your joy, to more of it. And so with that, this is in a state of allowing. And so I want you to ask that I want to be in a pure state of allowing. Ask that to God. And God will take you right on this top line here, right at one with God, right at empowerment, love, freedom, worthiness, appreciation. Your businesses will take off. Your health will take off. That everything will come to you easily. It'll be fun. It'll be more abundant than you ever had as you are in a state of allowing. And so that resistance, don't ever even think about it. Don't consider it, ponder it ever again. That I now stand in a pure state of allowing. Allowing what? Allowing God to be in my life, allowing me to allow all the things that I prefer. All my preferences come to me now. All the things that I desire, that I like, they come to me, and they come to me more and more. And why? Because I'm on the downstream of the stream of abundance. Everything is downstream. It's easy. I want you to expand your emotions. And so from this day forward, I want you to go and expand your imagination. As you ask to expand, so I want you to write down, I want to expand my imagination. And as you expand your imagination, you'll start seeing that you'll go beyond where your thoughts have been. And you're going to go to places that are even of greater paradise than you have ever imagined in your life. You go beyond where you're, thus then, after your thoughts go beyond, by expanding your imagination, that your feelings will go beyond where they have ever been before. And this pleases God, more than anything. It expands all that is. It's the purpose and the reason on why we're here, to expand our growth, our joy, and our freedom. So becoming a master at manifesting, allow yourself to be led by your emotions. So the state, pure state of allowing. I let go of my mind and my beliefs and allow the impulsive signals from my source to guide me. These are these feelings. And to guide me to even better feelings. So I ask for now better feelings, better thoughts, better manifestations of what I want. So your success steps, complete your EQ assessment that I'll send you. Listen to this recording at least 6 times. It literally tells you how life plays and how you can have life play the way that you want it. For you to live in heaven right here on earth. Do your joy shop every month. Make sure you do your monthly planning at the end of the month for 2 hours. I have a time management system if you want to save at least 3 weeks per year. If you want to be more focused on your high payoff activities, that we talk professional high payoff activities. There's also personal high payoff activities, such as feeling good being the number one high payoff activity. If you're planning on joining my platinum coaching, or even if you aren't, I would recommend that you complete my coaching application. It'll help you understand where you are, what you want, where to go. Send that to me and we can at least discuss that and then see if you'd like to join my platinum coaching. I typically triple people's businesses, so and you'll have a return on investment of most of my clients have over 1,000% return on my investment, the best, highest return you could ever get. And with that I want to thank you. I have loved our time together, that you guys are very special to me. I love you, that I send you well-being and the well-being of all that is, and to know that things now are getting better and better for you. Amen.